Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? Today is February 8th, 2025, and this is ZaZa Ali. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. This topic, the self-accusing spirit, is something that has been kind of bouncing around in my mind for the past few days. I was doing some reading last night and then earlier today, and it made me think about this in a bunch of different ways. And I wrote some notes earlier and said, let me just sit down and share this conversation that I'm having with myself to actually have that conversation with you guys. But again, I pray you're doing well. I hope you like my palm trees in the background. I'm definitely a California girl through and through when it comes to sunshine, sunny day, sky blue vibes, even though, the whole sunny day, sky blue concept is a different situation now. But I love, love, love palm trees. And so, just want to have something pretty and natural in the background. But this subject, the self-accusing spirit, is interesting because it's something I've always grappled with the concept of it. And I can't remember, I want to say it was Minister Farrakhan that I first heard say that, but I can't say that for sure because, you listen to so many teachers and scholars over the years, they kind of start blurring into each other to a certain extent. Before I get into this topic, and I'm going to make sure I'm crisp and concise and short lived with my message today. I am running the last day. Campaign actually ended yesterday that I've been running for $50 access to my membership channel for 12 months. No subscription, no renewal, just access to all of my content, all of my headline news episodes, all of my Ask Me Anything. What did we do? We did the book club meeting. We did walk with me. No, we didn't do walk with me. I posted a walk with me. I'm gonna post another my Rodale Drive walk with me. That wasn't today, like I just did it, but it was a couple of months ago. But I'll post that one on YouTube as well. We did the book club meeting. We did the town hall talks. We did the Ask Me Anything. We did the, what am I forgetting? We did everything basically except walk with me and except the group meditation, which I was supposed to do this last Sunday live on YouTube, but I wasn't feeling well. So what I am going to do to compensate for that, because I did, promise that during this 6 weeks, I was going to show you guys everything that my work, that my membership channel actually entails to entice you, to mentally and spiritually entice you in the best way, of course, in the higher self way. Get out your lower nature. That's me, the one who even thought about it, right? But yeah, to showcase what we do and then to give it to you and offer it to you for the low. $50 for a whole year. That's that's $4 per month. And I think I've given you guys a good representation of what my workload looks like in terms of how serious I take my work and how serious I take this group. So today is going to be the last official day to sign up for that, specifically because I'm going to post a meditation either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to just record one. I'm writing it out now, and it'll just be on YouTube, and then we can kind of, close everything out and seal the deal with that. Thank you to all of you guys who have signed up, who have supported me in this campaign. Thank you so much to all of the members that were already members that supported me in this campaign. You guys definitely showed up for real, and I'm very grateful. And to all of the new members, welcome. And I look forward to getting to know you guys. Why am I stuttering? I don't know, because I'm trying to talk and read my notes at the same time. Okay, yeah. So I was pondering this idea earlier, thinking about the yearning for more. How so many people I've talked to in consultations or just in day-to-day life, or just, in engaging with people online, responses to my videos, and people I know personally. There are so many people that are yearning for something more right now. And it's kind of frustrating for all of us because we don't quite know what it is, right? But we're all pretty much at our wits' end. Though those of us who are still operating in our sanity, right? Still close to source, still close to God. We're all kind of operating at our wits' end in terms of trying to be a good person, operate in the love vibration, do good, be good, right? and at the same time juggle the ramifications of living in this world. And so the conversation I was just having, I was talking about the cost of living in Los Angeles and all these extreme polarities here. You know, you're going to pay top dollar for gas for everything, but then you could potentially have like trash littering up and down your street, or homeless people living on your block. Just these extreme polarities that are existing in these spaces, right? And that's just a physical representation of what's happening mentally, spiritually, and emotionally with the people in this country. Extreme polarities in the mind and in states of consciousness. I mean, to sit back and watch all of this unfold, I hope the repetitiveness of what I'm saying is not bothering you guys. And even if it is, it's okay. Please don't get stuck on this race-based consciousness, this democratic republic. They getting ready to make us all slaves again. Get off the bandwidth and the frequency of these people that are trying to control you. This is the time for self-analysis and self-awareness. You should be able to, everybody listening to me should know if this applies to them or not. And sometimes it'll apply and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you'll recognize, wait a minute, I've been on social media too long. How do I know? Because when I'm on this app, my jaws start clenching and I start feeling anxiety, or these are real life symptoms that people are having just from going into a space that actually doesn't exist in a phone. So self-awareness, self-accountability, self-reliance are critical components in terms of how we should be designing our characteristics and our personalities and the way we operate in the world right now. Just like we should be conscientiously designing our lives. I'm going to read this passage from Mastery and Accomplishment to that point. Shout out to my book club members. Our next meeting is going to be on March the 1st. I'm probably going to be done with the book by then, to be honest, but it's all good, because if the book is that good, where I'll read it twice with you guys, and get wisdom from it the second time around too. But so this is what I wrote in my notes earlier about this point, right? The self-accusing spirit, and then I wrote that when you know you're wrong, right? When you know you're not doing your best, not just knowing you're wrong, or I did wrong by him or wrong by her, or I mishandled that situation, or I dropped the ball on that opportunity, or all that little stuff, right? That compounds itself in our minds, and if there's too many losses, it gets hard to clear the path for the wins, right? So these compounding mistakes or self-sabotages, or lack of trust in yourself, or lack of being able to turn off the world so you can tap into your higher self, so to speak, right? So the self-accusing spirit, knowing when you're wrong and doing wrong, or not doing your best, but being conscious of it, right? That's why, guilt and shame, these words, although are very polarizing, negative energies and states of emotion, in terms of how, that compassion element, and maybe feeling like we mistreated somebody, mishandled somebody, or, mishandled the situation, guilt would not be an appropriate response, right? But it's coming from a different space than, I messed over you and I don't really care at all. Or I, what I'm saying, hurt you or knocked you over, or rushed past you and didn't see your humanity and saw you fall on the ground and didn't care at all. So even in this concept of the self-accusing spirit, we still have God in the light trying to find a way to shine through. Because I was thinking about that accusing word, right? And the accusatory spirit. That's a low vibrational energy. That it doesn't feel good, especially, self-accusation. You have an argument with somebody, you can quantify that. You have an ongoing, a blow up with somebody, or a long-standing relationship with somebody, and you can pinpoint the memories and what he said and what you said and what happened and all of that. But like that ongoing internal language and conversation, we don't quantify that. There's no transcript of how you talk to yourself every day. It's we're all pretty much on autopilot, to be honest, unless you're really tapped in, tuned in, and listening to yourself and correcting yourself. If you were writing a letter and you said something that was not true to what you wanted to represent or speak in the words, you would take an eraser and erase it and go back and write the proper terminology. We're not doing that in our minds. Like, damn, I just said something that was really mean spirit and not a good look for me to talk to myself and treat myself that way. Let me stop and make sure that I acknowledge that. Okay, cool. Where's the shredder? Boom. I'm gonna put this feeling, this sentiment, this thing that was very hurtful and or unkind, I'll say, to me. Let me put this in the shredder. Let me burn this and make sure this sentiment for myself never comes up. But if we say certain things in that same regard to a family member or a loved one, or sometimes even a stranger, depending on how compassionate and empathetic you are, it'll haunt you. So on page, wait a minute, I didn't make my point yet before I get to him. So the self-accusing spirit, okay, so self-sabotage would be another representation. Okay, let me read this because I'm getting ahead of myself. Knowing when you're wrong, knowing you're wrong and still doing wrong, not doing your best, self-sabotage or sabotaging other people, harmful, unproductive behavior and behavioral patterns and life circumstances, right, that are self-inflicting. Right? This is when the self-accusing spirit shows up. This is lack vibrational consciousness. So there the response, that self-accusing spirit, again, is the lower nature still reaching for the light. That accusatory spirit doesn't usually come with love. But that self-accusing spirit, if it's, your heart's still functioning and you still a real life thoroughbred human being, because clearly today not everybody is. Some of these people don't have souls, I'm convinced. You got to have a soul to rock with me. It's a litmus test to be in my life. Soul is required. Depth is required. Being curious about life and informed about things or curious about things or invested in me and interested in me is a requirement. You got to bring a good energy, good vibration, good intention for my life to be a part of my life. So, but even still, in this lack-based consciousness of the self-accusing spirit, and I'm only calling it lack-based because that word accusing is that accusatory spirit. Every time I say that word, I know it makes you feel some type of way because I do too, right? So the word is tethered to a vibration. But even in that sense, the self-accusing self or spirit is still reaching for light. Because it's the awareness, it's the observation. It's like, oh, this is a part of my character or my personality that I don't like or I need to fix or I need to work on. That's why I feel bad about it. That's why I can't sleep. That's why it's haunting me, right? People with children, with relationships, parents, mothers, and fathers who have disconnected relationships and haven't tapped in with their children. They're walking around with a lot of pain and anxiety and unexpressed personal resentment, let alone the resentment from everything else, the baby mama, baby daddy, court system, child support, drug addictions, right? Issues with my father showing back up and all of that shit. Now imagine what the self-accusing spirit is doing to said persons. Because when the energy is off between me and my son, nothing is really going to go smooth for me. I know that. That is one thing that has to be, the energy in that relationship has to be good, or we have to be working towards getting it good. And when I say the energy, I mean, his situation, life circumstances, experiences, stuff he's dealing with, all of that, all of that. That's one thing that can knock me off my vibration quick. So thank God that my son was listening to me all these years and is a great representation of me. So I don't have to be stressed out pulling my hair out because he's a young man out here in this world. The higher nature is not an accusatory spirit. The lower self creates the accusatory spirit, but even still, you're still looking for light. Everything is reaching for the sun. Even when it's out of alignment, everything is reaching for the sun. And the ability to self-correct, the ability to self-correct, the ability to self-correct. I don't care what happened. I don't care what the problem was. I don't care what the failure was. I don't care how high the mountain looks right now. I don't care how many times you bumped your head on life. I don't care the third time around, fifth time around. Okay, get up, dust yourself off, take a moment, take a few breaths. Remember the things you have to be grateful for: your mind, your breathing, your consciousness, the fact you still have life to be able to move forward, the fact that you even have the energy to reach for the light, because everybody don't. On page 151 in the book, he says, this is, what chapter is this? Life and opportunity. He says, one can never think too often or too much of the wish one has. One should dream about it, imagine it, think about it, keep it continually in mind, and do everything possible towards its fulfillment. Now, think about that. Because I know some brothers, and I used to be like this. I was a big basketball fan, big sports fan, really. But, the Lakers was like numero uno for me. Lakers, and then eventually the Warriors, but always the Lakers. I was set my life around, the games, playoff games, all of that. Pardon me. My screen was buffering here. Okay. Hopefully it was my timer stopped, which made it look like my video was buffering. But hopefully you guys can hear me. Um so in the sports world, knowing every RBI in baseball, every field goal percentage in basketball and in football, right? I know brothers and some females too, because I was one of these females at a certain point in time, who can like run down all of Michael Jordan's stats, run down all of Kobe Bryant's stats, know who the Lakers are playing next week, the week after that, totally tapped into the brand, totally tapped into the love for all of the history of the players, from Magic Johnson all the way up to the, LeBron today, that are like super 1000% invested in this team that, gives us some, happiness and joy and benefit in life, right? Not taking anything from the recreational aspect of it. But I find that a lot of times, many, if not most times, most people aren't that tapped in with themselves. Like, what was your wins last year, and to just be able to run it off the top of their mind. What is it that you really want in life? What is it? What is your next goal? What is your highest and best desire? If you were sitting and having a conversation with the Most High right now, and everything, your wish was my command, was the mood. What exactly is it that you want? Is it detailed? Do you know? Have you thought about it? Have you dreamed about it? We live in a mental universe. That's why they spend so much time trying to keep us programmed. That's why Hollywood is what Hollywood is. It's a whole psychological warfare apparatus, because they understand the power of the mind. And if they can get you to believe the illusion, then guess what? Your powerful mind, our powerful minds, will create it as a byproduct of going with the flow, as a byproduct of believing in their world, as a byproduct of believing in their power. So guess what? That's not even intentional. The byproduct aspect, that's not intentional. They're programming the subconscious mind. The I'm gonna say inactive, but that's not really the word I want to use. No, let me not use that word, because somebody will take that in. misappropriate that. Um, conscious versus subconscious, meaning conscious being the more active part of the brain and the mind process, which would naturally make the subconscious mind less inactive, but not like it's not doing anything. It's just a different context. Um, so we can run down the politicians. Kamala Harris ran a 107-day campaign, and black women lost their minds. And I ain't mad at it. You know what I mean? Because tap in wherever you feel inspired. Tap in wherever you feel supported and wherever you feel like your time and energy is best served. But how many of us have actually taken 120 days and just 1000% focused on self? I don't mean just the diet part. I don't mean just the working out part. I'm talking about mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, 100% focus on self for 120 days. No holds barred. I see people online complaining about, I guess in January, people who drink take the whole month of January off. They call it dry January, I think, like a new to start the new year. And I see people struggling online, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I'm like, damn, you live in a totally different world. And that's not a judgment at all. I'm just saying, that's not even something I have to deal with or think about at all because I don't drink. And if I have a glass of wine occasionally, it's not something that I need to you know, even still, people who do drink is good if you commit yourself to that. It's a fast. But I'm just saying. So coming back to the book, he says, but after everything he just said, one should do this with poise, with tranquility, with patience, with confidence, with ease, and not by hard thinking about it. Pause. What are you doing in your life consistently that you do with poise? I would definitely put my content in that category. The time I take to before I even sit down and turn on the microphone or turn on the camera, once I sit down and actually get ready to talk to you guys, like, yeah, I've actually put some thought into what I want to talk about. I'm intentionally bringing a specific message or a specific topic, right? So I'm poised in this regard. Tranquility, yoga, patience, working on that, especially when it comes to myself. I got all the patience in the world for the world. Not so much when it comes to me, though, but I'm working on that. Confidence. What are you doing consistently on a day-to-day basis where you embody and exhibit confidence and with ease and not thinking hard about it? The one who thinks hard about his wish destroys it. It is just like overheating something or giving too much water to a plant. It is destroyed by the very thing which should help it. If a person worries about his wish, he certainly either has no patience or he has some fear or some doubt. All these things destroy the wish. A wish must be cherished easily, with comfort, with hope, with confidence, and with patience. Doubt is like rust to the wish. It eats into it, and fear is still worse. It destroys it. And when a person has no discrimination and is not sure whether it is a right wish or a wrong wish, whether it should come true or not, one day he will say, I should so much like for it to come true. Another day he says, I do not care if it comes true or not. After a week, he says, I wish it would happen now. And after a month, I do not care anymore. It is just like making a fire and then putting it out. And every time one extinguishes the fire, wait, it is just like making a fire and then putting it out. Every time one extinguishes the fire, it is gone, and one will have to make it anew. I think that's where I wanted to stop. The question whether a wish is desirable or not depends upon our stage of evolution. A person whose evolution is such that he has no wish other than for the needs of his daily life must not think he should wish for something higher. I equate that as we're always supposed to be striving for something higher. Always supposed to be reaching for something higher. Again, even the lower self, even the rose that grows from concrete, everything is reaching for the light. So we're supposed to be consistently stepping our game up, climbing the ladder of ourself. I'm not talking about new car every year or the timeline on when you're supposed to buy your house. This is not about financial things, although it's relative. But because we spend so much time on that, we have a lot of people that are not settled and confident and secure within themselves, their true authentic self. That's where the self-accusing spirit comes in. That's why so many of these celebrities are so unhappy. Putting up wearing a mask your whole entire life must be exhausting. That's why the fact we never talked about Kanye West went on this whole diatribe where he had on a mask all the time. That is not comfortable or healthy. You trying to stick it to the man by suffocating or abusing yourself. Make it make sense. So expansion, even if it's just getting up and doing yoga for the day, even if it's just taking a walk, even if it's just reading 2 or 3 pages from the book that you know you need to get back into, even if it's just doing some research for the business, even if it's just creating a vision board for the business, creating a vision board for the traveling you want to do, creating a vision board for the expansion, creating a vision book, looking at the sites online that you admire, that you want to model your site after, asking the questions and then finding the answers. The creativity frequency, the momentum, the expansion, the passion is what we need right now. That concept of designing your life starts by designing your thoughts. I love design, interior architectural design, architecture. I went to school for that. I love it all. I'm fascinated by the whole building process. So when you design a home, you have to be very conscientious about every single aspect of what goes into that house. Imagine if we were that meticulous in terms of how we think. Nah, I don't like that thought. You got to move around. Nah, that don't feel good right there. We don't have any room for that. Imagine if we were that meticulous. Being intentional is very critical right now. Not going with the flow is very critical right now. Look where the flow is leading people, especially if you're in America. The mind war games in America is on 1,000 right now. I'm staying off of all of those frequencies and bandwidths of consciousness. Thank you very much. When I do headline news, I can, take me about 2 weeks to put those together, and I can deal with it and process it and put it together, and then I'm on to the next thing. But I'm not living in that world of lack-based, victim-based consciousness pulling me everywhere, arms stretched apart, limbs stretched apart, can barely survive in this reality, let alone all of the noise of the world. No, we're not doing that. So I wanted to post this video and remind you guys with a message, a heart-based message, a love-based message, to give you some extra energy and momentum today. Maybe you're going through something, maybe you're not. We don't always have to be going through something to resonate with truth, because truth is truth. But let this put a little bit of extra wind beneath your wings. The palm trees, the beauty of life, the beauty of traveling, the beauty of the soul of the world. The alchemist Paulo Coelho called it the soul of the world. That was a hell of a term for me when I first read that book. Like, it's so simple. How have I never thought of this? The soul of the world? Of course the world has a soul. That's what I've been seeking this whole time and didn't even know it. That's what a lot of us are seeking. That's what a lot of you guys are seeking. So that thing, that strong pull, that yearning for more, that's what it is, the soul of the world. So I tap into the soul of the world through my books. I tap into the soul of the world through my content. I tap into the soul of the world through the research and the observation that I'm doing. My love for nature, my love for beautiful, colorful, vibrant things in the world. I have a strong desire, a strong pull, a strong passion to connect with the soul of the world, the soul of the universe. This is what a lot of us that with that itch that we can't figure out, we want to scratch, but we don't know how. That's what it is. And the trick is because a lot of us feel like we gotta either go on a sabbatical or travel all the way around the world or go to the best and brightest retreats and be around the best and brightest minds. And all of those things are relative to the path. And all of us have different paths to get there. There's no one way. But the irony is that those unique skills and qualities that we have, the things that makes us individually us, is the quickest way. You talk about the quickening, that's the your talent and your skill set is the quickest way to that high vibration, to that what we call enlightenment, connection to source, tapped into the divine frequency, aligned with source, Christ consciousness, your talent and your skill set. So ancient people was a portal for me in that regard. When I do these videos, this is a portal for me. This shit's gonna live forever. And people are gonna come back to this video for years and years as long as these platforms are viable. And even if they're not viable, I have my own website that has all of my content and a lot more. Hopefully you sign up, take advantage of this special. It's going to end today. $50 for access for 12 months. But I'm just saying, this is the time for the God frequency, God vibration. That's why I ain't trying to hear that Roland Martin and all that stuff that I talked about yesterday and showing those videos. I respect the passion. I used to be immersed in politics too. I get it. But we've had 5 years of deprogramming. You still in the matrix, you still, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we have to be in the game, but I'm not, I'm playing a different game than they're playing now. I'm playing it from my conscious, authentic, true self, not the character they created, and definitely not the NPC. So ZaZaAli.com is my website. All of my books, all of my content, all of my workshops, all of the wonderful things about ZaZa Ali you can find there, as well as the information in the description of the video. All right. And I will see you beautiful people. The sale ends tonight. Okay. So after that, I'm going to go back in all of the videos and put the direct link if you want to sign up for the membership at the regular price, which is $22.22 per month, or $200 for an annual membership. I will make sure that I go in and add those as well. So down the line, when all the people who didn't hear this right now hears it later, you'll have access to that. All right. ZaZaAli.com, info@ZaZaAli.com. All my contact information is in the description. Peace and love.